So I'm about to explain to you why your real estate content gets views, lots of views, right? Great thing, great. But is getting no leads, which is not so great. What mistakes you may be making, how you can fix it, and how to literally change the feeds optimization so where it works for you and not against you. So let's just get straight to it. All right, so let me just preface this by saying going viral is extremely nice, right? We all love that dopamine hit. We all love having that high feeling of life, being that we just got seen by a lot of people. Like that's the goal when posting on social media for a lot of us. And when we see that, we open the app, we see all these notifications blowing up, you're popping now. That right there signifies something good, that you did something right, and the algorithm decided to reward you for that. But why is it that we don't get more of what we want from it, being leads and clients, when we got so much views and likes and comments and shares? Why don't those two necessarily correlate is the question you may be asking yourself. Well, it's because of a few reasons, right? Yeah, the main reason being is that you didn't give the algorithm the signal that this video is meant to drive sales. It's meant to drive booked calls. It's meant to drive whatever your call to action is. And we'll get to that in a second, right? But you didn't give the algorithm a signal that this video is one that I want to be pushed out to a certain group of people. And that's where a lot of people miss the mark. They believe that just because it went viral, that it's going to automatically hit everybody's feed that they want it to hit. I guarantee when it goes viral, the algorithm is just pushing it out to people who enjoys that type of content, right? You can have somebody 1,000 miles away who's enjoying that same type of content, but that's not necessarily the person that you're trying to target. And so it's a targeting issue going on, and you didn't give the algorithm a signal that, hey, I don't need this to go to 1 million people around the world. I want it to go to 1 million people around my city or looking to move to my city. And to do that, it's a few factors that got to take place. One of those being you need to have your ICP always in mind, right? What is your ICP? Your ICP is your ideal customer profile. If you don't have that in mind whenever you're posting, I might explain what that is in a second. But if you don't have that in mind whenever you're posting, then it's just going to reach any and everybody. And because you don't have a very specific person that you're trying to target, that means you're going to target everybody on accident, right? It always happens. It happens to the best of us, but there is a way to fix it. That's what we want to hear. Is this fixable? Is it a fixable problem, or is it something that, you simply can't fix? Well, I'm here to say that you can definitely fix it starting today if you really wanted to, right? So build your ICP out, meaning that person is your person that you need to be speaking to very directly, very specifically. I don't care how specific you get. I want you to think about it this way, right? If you have two realtors in the same city, one realtor is posting with the thoughts or ideas in mind that who I'm speaking to is a married couple looking to move into the city because of relocation due to a job. They have 2 kids and they're looking for good schools, and they like neighborhoods that have water parks, right? If that's their ICP in mind, and then you have the second realtor in the same city and their ICP is a couple who's looking to move, who do you think is going to get more? Realistically speaking, who do you think is going to get more out of the post if they target correctly? Who do you think is going to get more out of what they put in? It's going to be the person who got way more specific, who got way more hyper localized, right? Hyper localized in their city with a very specific person. Now, I'm not saying you have to speak to this person every single time, but if the property that you're showing or the video is surrounded around a certain group of people, it's always good to keep them in mind. Whenever you're showing whatever's in the video, whenever you're talking about whatever you're talking about in that video, it's always good to keep them in mind, because then they'll feel like you're talking directly to them. They'll feel way more connected to you just because you understood them, when really all you did was build a persona in your mind, in your head, and you talked directly to that persona in hopes that the algorithm will push your video out to the person that you are thinking of, that you're making this video about. And it works. That's the crazy thing about it, that it actually works if you actually, frame your video as such. Now, another reason your video may be getting a lot of views but no leads from it is because you are focused on the entertainment part rather than the educational part. And I want you to realize there's two different audiences on social media all the time, right? It's audiences who like watching content, and it's audiences who like watching content in order to get something from it and move the needle forward. Maybe they want to work with you, maybe they want to buy something. It's always going to be something after they watch, other than a good laugh, right? You can have a good laugh off any type of content, but if that's the goal, which most of the time it is, right? Your goal is to go on social media and just have a good laugh, be entertained. If that's the goal, then there is no next step after that, right? It's just haha, like and scroll. However, if your content is built around, I want to make them watch and then I want to make them do something else after that, make them reach out to me because they liked what they watch and they need or want my help, that's a whole different ball game right there. So there's two different audiences: ones that watch to get entertained and that's it, and then others that watch to get educated and move something forward. With that being said, you have to optimize for the second group of people, those who are watching to get educated and move the needle forward. Now, your views will probably take a hit because of this, right? The group of people who are on social media that are looking for nothing but entertainment, much, much larger than the group of people who are looking to be educated and work with people and actually find somebody to help them out. Like, the margin is so wide. So you will be sacrificing your views, your likes, whatever you may like that gives you that dopamine hit. But you will also be getting a lot more out of it in terms of getting business and, moving your business forward, right? And so if you want to really optimize for that second group of people who are actually going to be willing to work with you and not just have a good laugh, then you need to start surrounding your content around that instead of entertainment. Now, there's a specific category within the entertainment realm that I want to talk about real quick, because a lot of you don't realize that this actually falls under entertainment, even if it's not necessarily entertainment, right? It's not educational to your viewers who are willing to work with you. This is solely just kind of like locker room talk or, chit chatting with your colleagues. This is that type of talk. And that just so happens to fall under entertainment just because the people you're talking to and the ones who are responding to that video aren't going to move forward with anything after watching. And that's talking about anything that has to do with your life as a real estate agent, whether it be a day in the life or, any type of realtor talk is what I like to call it. If it's talk that only realtors will understand or that's targeted towards other agents for them to respond in your comments, then that's not the videos that you want to be putting out if you want to get business. It's not the type of videos that will move the needle forward with the audience that is actively looking for you to help them, right? Because it's not talking about them. It's not talking to them. You're not speaking their language. I like to speak about that. You got to speak your audience's language. Whoever your ICP is, you always have to speak their language in order to get something out of it. If you hop on social media and you talk about anything real estate related that has really nothing to do with them and a lot more to do with your, coworkers around you, then they're not going to understand that. They don't care about that. All they're looking for is, who can I relate to the best that can help me find my next home? Like, that's all they're worried about. And in order to give them that, you have to speak their language, but you also have to show them what they want to see, tell them what they want to hear. And I guarantee it's not any of the stuff you're talking about that has to do with your work life. You know what I'm saying? They have their own lives. They're not worried about your work life as a real estate agent. And so I think a lot of people get that, confused, or not even confused. I don't think they think about it that way. And so if you keep that in mind, that before you hit post, is this video even talking about something that my audience will relate to, for one, or that what they will like, or that will move the needle? If it's none of those, then it's probably not going to get any business. As long as you know that, that's fine. You can make those videos all you want, but if you want to get more business from your videos, you want to get your lead generation machine going, then you got to understand that those types of videos aren't going to be the ones that necessarily move the needle pretty much at all. So stop creating for entertainment. Stop creating for the ones who understand your work language, but start creating for the ones who are actually, you got to bring yourself out of your work life and just be a creator. You know what I'm saying? Embody that creator spirit that goes, I'm going to post this it's going to be phenomenal and it's going to hit the right audience. Forget me being a realtor for a second. I'm just a creator who happens to know how to help you buy, sell, rent, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can bring yourself out of that work life situation and just put yourself as a person who can just help people, then I guarantee that will not only speed up the process in which they want to work with you or reach out to you, but you'll get so much more out of it compared to everybody else who's doing the same thing. And it just so happens to be a lot of people doing the same thing. You would know that. I'm sure you know that, right? So like I was mentioning earlier, you probably didn't get the algorithm a signal that this video is meant to move something forward. Whether that be your hook was bad, or you didn't, hyper localize your content well enough, or your CTA was probably bad. Maybe they watched the full video, but you didn't have a call to action to be able to say, hey, reach out to me or DM me, comment, whatever the case may be. You didn't give them that go ahead to go ahead and do that, right? The feed, like the algorithm, they pay attention to those types of things, especially if you're doing it repetitively. It will reward you if you just do it over and over again. But if you're just like doing it here and there and making all types of videos that don't really have a specific audience in mind, then the algorithm will continue to treat your videos that way and they'll push it out to any and everybody, right? If you hyper localize your content, make your videos around the city, the area that you're in, the neighborhoods, the houses, if you like literally hyper localize your content for every single post for your next 100 posts, after that, you're locked. Like the algorithm, the feed definitely will know who you're trying to target at that point, but you have to train it. You can't just, do it here and there and then, talk about these one-off videos, let's say your cat or whatever. Now, it's good to have that personable side about you, right? But the algorithm's not going to get that. The people who are watching may get it, but again, who are you trying to target in the first place? So before you do any of that, you really need to tone down on who you're speaking to, exactly what area you're in so it can get that, right? And then work on the little things like your hook and your CTA. For things like your hook being your first 3 seconds of your video, you want to let it be known that this video is for a very specific group of people. If you're in Dallas, Texas, right, you need to let the algorithm and the people who are watching, as soon as they scroll, know, hey, Dallas, Texas, this is for you. You can literally call them out by name if you want to, because that does 2 things in one. Not only does that hyper localize your content, but it also is a good hook to get the people who are meant to watch that video to watch it. So as long as your social media success is not measured by views or followers or whatever the case may be, and you start to instead measure your success by how much I'm getting out of this in terms of business and lead generation, then you'll start to see your wins kind of increase. The real win, the real measurement is how many people are willing to contact you after watching your video. How many people are you not willing, but how many people can you get through, literally get through to a screen, right? In order for them to like you and trust you. Like that's a skill within itself. To get somebody to like and trust you through a screen that you've never met in person, you just so happen to pop up on their feed one day and you kept on doing it after that. And after that, they grew fond of you and worked with you and literally helped you get money in your bank account. Like that's a big thing. That's a skill that not many people have, right? And so if you're able to do that and start measuring your success by those types of things instead, then I think that will reflect that.